Hello my little morning doves. Today I'm going to show you how to make some 3D collage with cut paper. There's lots of ways to cut and fold and curl and bend and twist and otherwise manipulate paper. Ultimately what I'll show you how to do is to make this little garden gnome home scene that involves making a hut, some little animals for the pond, and some trees. These are two different trees here. I'm going to show you how to make the more complicated one because this one looks a lot like a carrot. This one looks a little like a carrot. This one looks a lot like a carrot. I chose some unfortunate colors there. You'll only be needing paper, scissors, glue, tape, stapler, I guess. Anything to join the paper together. I'm going to show you the various folds, and then I'm going to show you how to put this together. Let's have at it. First, let's look at some of the basic shapes you can make. Of course, the first thing would be rolls. So when you take the paper and you roll it over itself, and you glue it down, tape it down, staple it down. The rolls can be short, they can be long. Loops, you just close them up and face-to-face glue it, staple it, or tape it down. So you have that teardrop shape. Curls. Curls require no closing. Pleats are basically just folding, zigzag folding. Fringes. A fringe is like feathers where you cut a lot of slits into it. I just took my scissors and cut up, cut up, cut up, cut up, cut up. When you have fringes, you have a regular fringe, you have a curled fringe, and I recommend curling it before you cut it. And there's a folded fringe. So I folded the paper into pleats. Cutaways, I fold the paper in half, I cut out that shape, unfold it, and then you have that cutaway shape. Tabs, basically, you take a piece of paper and you cut a strip of paper on its side halfway through, and then you fold them back and forth. Square and fold is exactly what it sounds like. Does it have to be a square? No. Could you do it with a triangle? Sure. But the bottom line is it's not closed. Notice it's open. If it becomes closed, they become prisms. Prisms. So this is a rectangular prism. It's got four sides, but it also has a fifth little tab that goes halfway through. And then a triangular prism, or a prism. A spiral, you take a shape and you can do a square, rectangle, triangle, or circle. Doesn't much matter. You're just going to cut all the way in, and then you have this fun little thing. Cones. How do you make a cone? It's not as hard as it looks. You start with a circle. Obviously, my circles were not done with a scientific instrument. They were just freehand with scissors because you could see that I have not a perfect circle because no one can cut a perfect circle. But I've also cut a slit in here to the center. And I take that and I curve it over on itself. And however pointy I want it to be, I have to then fold it to that point. And then I'm just going to take that tab, glue it down. Finally, the tabs and slots. You can do a tab and slot with any of these. I took a triangular prism and I cut some slits in it. This slit I just left as one slit, so it's going to keep a single sheet of paper in it. And these two, I cut two slits, and then I folded it in on itself, so you can then pop that back out. Once I fold that in on itself, I can then put another shape inside it. Here I have a curl inside it, but I could put any shape that's the same size inside it. Switch it up. Experiment a little. Some things I'm not going to show you exactly how to do. Those are, for the most part, the flat things. I'm not going to show you how to cut a little pond because that's just a flat piece of paper on top of another piece of paper. I'm not going to show you how to do this little walkway thing because it's not really required. And again, it's just a flat piece of paper on a flat piece of paper. So what I am going to show you is how to make the hut, the tree, and the duck. The duck is pretty easy. I basically just cut out the shape of a duck and I put a little tab on the bottom. So all I do is I fold that tab on the bottom and I just glue or tape it into the pond. The hut is actually not that hard. All that's required is a circle that you're going to turn into a cone and a strip that you're going to turn into the walls. So the walls, just going to take this around like this. Now I ran out of glue a moment ago, so I am just going to tape it in place. So the hut, walls. That's that. Look good? Looks great. The roof. It's a cone. So I take that circle with the slit cut down to the center and I twist it in until I have the shape I want. since I'm not using glue, I have to tape on both sides. Glue would be ideal here, but again, just ran out of glue. So, that is a hut. Yes, they do look a little like carrots. Nobody asked you. So the first thing you're going to need is the tree trunk. So you're going to take a rectangle, and you're going to make a roll. Okay? Nothing fancy there. Going to tape, glue, staple, otherwise attach that roll so that it is standing up. I'll put it further. The next thing you want to do is make your branches. Your branches are ultimately going to look like this, which is what we called a folded fringe. But you're going to start with a single piece of paper. You're going to fringe it, but you're not going to fringe it right away. First, you're going to fold pleats. Remember pleats? So I'm going to take those pleats, and my scissors are strong enough that I can just cut with it already pleated. Now I have a folded fringe, right? I have two, in fact, which is good because I want to use both of them. So the first one I'm going to use, I'm going to wrap around. This is probably way longer than I need it to be. I could maybe even get 3 out of this. I just cut off the extra. Now I'm going to wrap that around and I'm going to tape it in place. See? First step. Second one, do the same exact thing. I'm going to wrap it around. And again, longer than it needs to be. I just tore it that time. I didn't even bother with the scissors because I'm a rebel. So now I have 2 layers. Okay, think I can get this one to go all the way around if I attach these? Maybe, we'll give it a shot. Let's try it. And I can. I'm definitely not being too delicate about putting them all together because trees are random. Just like with the duck, on the back of the duck I had that tab. You're going to take that piece of paper and you're going to fold a little L. Take some tape. And then I'm going to tape it down. And I'm going to tape a second piece down. Because I actually want it to stand up. So I used 2 pieces to make that one stand. Sometimes you only need 1. Now you have a little hut to put a door on this hut. The simplest way is to just cut that shape and open it up. Now, wasn't that fun? You know it was. After you've made this type of shape, or if you wanted to try something totally different, here is one more example. This is a relief sculpture. It's a skull. I used a couple loops, and I just used some strips of paper, and I made a couple triangular prisms. And I used the tab technique here, and I just taped it all down to the paper, and I made myself this skull.